Hi everyone, how are you today? Today we have a special guest. His name is Madis Mark. He's from Estonia, who is a web designer who is passionate about life coaching, writing, making and inspiration, YouTube videos and music. And he used to be a child who is addicted to the screen since 9 years old. And today he's already 29 years old. So today he's going to share about his journey with screens and how he actually viewed the screen addictions, especially himself as a child, and the message that he wants to share with the parents who are having child who is addicted to the screens or having longer screen time. So welcome, Madis. Thank you for sharing with us.
Hi, everyone. Yeah, good to be here.
Okay, so how is it going for you today?
I'm doing great. Thanks.
Okay, that's great. That's great. Okay, so can you actually describe maybe your life as a child and how do you actually get involved with the screens?
My main journey began when I was 9 years old, when I had like a big accident and spinal injury. And before that, I was living quite a normal childhood, like happy, joyful childhood, full of freedom, without any digital devices or smartphones or computers. We lots of bicycle riding, hiking, and playing with all kinds of like toys, hide and seek, and we had to be very creative. And I'm lucky that I experienced life before the digital revolution. So I think it was very precious time, and I can use these memories to inspire myself, like to remind of these good times that it's possible to be without digital or find joy even in the offline world. Although we can also use the digital work, digital tools when they are in balance. But yeah, when after the accident, I lost the ability to walk, and I had lots of difficulties to adjust to this new life, being in a wheelchair and trying to be a normal child at school, which was very difficult because I compared myself to others, and at some point also some boys were starting to bully me, and it was emotionally quite difficult with a low self-esteem. And I also didn't have strong emotional connections with my family. Before the accident, I felt fine, but after, I mean, I had also older brothers, but they moved away. They were much older than me, and I didn't grow up with my father as well. So I was mostly with my mother, who had to deal with all this pressure, and it was a very difficult situation for both of us. So in my family, we didn't have this strong emotional connections, and we didn't know how to like communicate and share like emotional stuff, because I had a lot of stress. And so I found a lot of comfort in the virtual world, where I felt that I could be free, I could be myself and be completely different person. Like it reminded me of the person I was before the accident, I think. So in many computer games, I was a clan leader, and I had a lot of more confidence and a lot of more freedom, or like it seemed a very fascinating place. And I think it helped me to escape my problems and find relief. but at the same time, I still had these problems, and some of things like relationship, my mother went worse. So it was not the solution to my problem, just a good relief, because I just wanted to feel good and safe, and I think that's the main reason why I got stuck in the virtual world.
Oh, okay, Madis, it must be very tough for you, and I guess that it's also very tough for your mom that, you know, yeah, the accident and the life scenes have changed a lot for you, and suddenly you realize that you are not like you're back 9 years old, you know, the previous 9 years old, where you can actually really lead like your precious moments. And and why do you think that you are really involved or really addicted to screens? What is the real reasons other than the escape, and you know, you describe the feelings and all that? What are the other reasons that other than the escape and all that, you know, the feelings of feeling good?
Well, one of the benefits was that I felt connected to others. I felt confident. I got friends there, and like in games and some online sites. I could find connections. I felt free expressing myself, communicating with others, because they didn't see my physical body, and it like helped to hide these some kind of barriers or like limits, or just feel equal to others. And and the games, of course, were also very stimulating and very like they can be really give you a rush of adrenaline, and later when I start to play like these role play games, like big, like World of Warcraft, and when it's a completely different level, even it's very like it gives you a sense of purpose, it gives you challenges, it gives you connection, it gives you joy, some form of pleasure. And when you don't get this in your real life, then it's then there is just no choice because we all want to feel good, and that's why it is easy to get addicted to screens.
Okay, then in that case, can you describe how is your life looks like when, you know, when you are not with the screens? Is it completely changed? You know, is it completely opposite of who you are in the real life, in the online world?
You mean nowadays, or when I was going at school when I was a teenager?
Yeah, I mean, when you was 9 years old and you go back to school, you know, you mentioned when you're online, you feel more confident, you feel connected. But what is the actual you? How does it looks like or feels like when you are in your physical world?
Well, to be honest, I actually felt like a nobody, like because I didn't have a self-esteem, and I felt that there was something wrong with me. And that if I got bullied, then it like amplified these problems. And sometimes I even felt scared to go to school because I didn't know what could happen during the breaks when some boys were throwing stuff, and I don't know. I felt very insecure, and I didn't know how to protect myself, and it was like a jungle at school. It like it used to be that strong boys like preyed on the weak. It's like unfortunate, but yeah, and I didn't. And on top of that, I didn't have a really strong connection to my mothers, and we had a lot of fights. because I wanted to be, when I was a teenager, I wanted to be independent, but I got a lot of stress because she came to pick me up from school and all these kind of things. Like there was a lot of resistance and anger, and then she was very mad at me, and then I got closed, and she was even more madder and more sad because I couldn't connect. I couldn't share what is going inside me, and of course the screen addiction also. Um, many like fights happened because of it. So there was a lot of stress at the school and home, and that's why there's a big contrast. So in the computer, I could escape from all of that.
Okay. Yes, I can see a very huge difference between, you know, your identity in your online world. It seems like a two different person. One is very confident, very connected to people, and you seems like you feel that you can actually lead people, to play in the game and, be a champion of it. But in the physical world, it seems that you have very low self-esteem, and you feels like it's a jungle. It's very hard for you to face. And at the same time, you mentioned that you don't feel connected to your mom. And that's why you couldn't really share with her what is going inside of you. Right.
Mm-hmm.
So how was your mom's response to your screen addiction? So how's your mom's view on your behavior? Does she just see the screen is the problem, or she see you as the problem, or how do you see the whole thing as the problem?
Yeah. Well, partly she wanted to be flexible, like let me be in front of the computer and play games, but she had like a moment of sometimes it went over the limit. Like she had like big bursts of anger or frustration, and she like sometimes used force. Like I took the cables from the from the computer, from the socket, and said that I can't go to the computer for some time. Sometimes she had these rules that I need to train my body a little bit, ride 20 minutes with this bicycle at home to train my muscles, because one of her fears was that when I don't move at all, then I can't live in the later life. I like get so I'm so weak. I can't move my body, and I was at the stage where I needed a lot of exercise. I think if I had done lots more movement, I would be in a better condition today, actually. But I didn't. I didn't want to do it. There was too much resistance. And I just wanted to play games and feel good. Not like use discipline to work on myself, because I didn't have this peace with myself yet, or my body. So it was very difficult to do something like productive or take care of myself. It's first emotional healing had to happen before the real changes to get out of the screen.
Okay. And can you describe at that moment, why do you feel you resist to your mom's, instructions to less screens? Because you mentioned, yes, there's a lot of resistance. Your mom give you the rules. Sometimes she will try, pull up the socket so that you can't be with the screens, and she impose some rules you mentioned before. And why do you feel that there's a resistance to that? And if you can recall back, like how do you feel, and when you feel resistance, what is the reasons behind that you feel resistance to that?
Yeah. Well, in my child's mind, I felt that she is taking away my freedom, like is taking away my joy, because I like to be in front of the computer and like uh, I understood in some ways why she's doing it, and now I understand it much better. But in my in this state of mind, I felt different. I just wanted to feel good, and when she tried to force me, I didn't feel good. It was like completely opposite. Like sometimes I was even scared, and I developed more anger and resistance, and I couldn't talk to her anymore, and it was like a very difficult relationship. Mm, I'm not sure what to add at the moment.
Okay. So I remember you mentioned your mom's put in the rules, she pull up the sockets. What else? And she's keep nagging you, stop. I guess that she will stop.
Yeah.
She will next a lot about the screen time and ask you to, reduce screen time, do something else. What else that she will actually do other than, her frustrations and her anger?
Well, one time she threatened me to put into another like special school, like I don't know how the school is called, but it's like for children with some difficulties. And that was one of the worst things that she told me, that luckily it was only one time and she didn't do something like this, but through this emotional she had this bursts. Sometimes it was angry. Sometimes I heard her crying in another room. And then I felt very sorry, and like in my own mind, I said to her that I'm sorry, but I don't know what to do. I can't do anything about myself. But in my head, I was telling her sorry, and I felt very sad about her and our relationship. And like inside, I knew that she is trying to do her best, but it didn't have the skills to. We both didn't have the skills to communicate and like work through these problems. That's why it was difficult.
Yes. I'm sure if your mom could connect with you and understand your struggles and, perhaps, go through the journey with you, sharing the same journey with you, would you think that it
Yes.
will actually help you, and, go through, reduce your screen addictions, right?
Yeah. It's hard to like imagine some things because the times were so different, and it feels like we at some point we didn't have these possibilities, and like there is like a difficult phase. It what feels inevitable sometimes when you don't have any alternatives. Like there was not much information about it. No one was talking about this computer addiction, and I think there were a lot less support. Sometimes she wanted me to go to a psychologist, but it didn't work, this strategy. I mean, I was very resistant to psychologists. I was like, no, never. Because I felt like when someone is sending you to a psychologist, you feel like that something is wrong with you. So especially as a teenager, so, and I didn't have this internal motivation yet. So it's very hard to change or force someone to change if they don't want it themselves. So like I had to like find something, some reasons for, like, I don't know. After some time, when my mother got tired fighting, and I grew more mature, and started to read self-help books, and got more active, more social, saw other people with similar challenges, like physical disabilities, but were totally okay, were enjoying their life. And then I saw that it's not about my body, it's about how I think and how I react to life. And I developed a completely different understanding of life and world. And then I really started to work on myself and found new hobbies, like playing guitar, and later singing, and that helped me to overcome these confidence issues. And when I finally also, independence was very important to me when I was finally 18 and I could drive my own car to go to school by my own. That was like a really big change for me. I didn't feel like a small child anymore. I'm like I felt like I could take care of myself. And yeah, a lot of things during this whole journey that helped. But yeah, if I look back, I wish that my mother had a lot more awareness about the psychology and the communication, and also did a lot more self-development on her own too, because I think it's very hard to try to help someone if you don't help yourself first. So I think it plays a big part. Like, we all have to work on ourselves, learn about self-development, all these kind of things, maybe even go to therapy or family therapy. There's so many options today, a lot of information. So that makes me hopeful. It's like very fortunate that today there are so many more opportunities and there are no excuses. Like, every family can change, and it's possible. And even when things have gone very wrong, I still I have a proof that things can change. Like, it takes more time and it takes more effort to change with screen habits in later life. It has taken me a lot of years to find these right strategies, and but it is possible. And but at the same time, I also wish that things were a little bit more easier for others.
Yes. I totally agree with you. I guess that back then, there are not much of resources about like the screens addictions, and there are not so much helps on, all these screens, helping the parents to, to reduce the screen time, or, to combat with the screen addictions. And I guess your mom is trying her best to, help whatever she can do. She knows that, it's not that she feels the screen is the problem, and she wants that you spend more time or quality time, working on your muscles and on yourself, rather than just
And studies. Yeah.
and studies rather than just be with the screen all the time. And coming from a parent's perspective, I think that, most parents want their child to be, like, spend more time with studies, be active, or, do something that is more healthier rather than just staying with the screens. And back then she's trying her best, but it's just that she don't have the tools, she don't have the skill set, to help. And she also have no one, she also not sure who's the one that she can actually turns into. And to be honest, I also have some parents, they are retired, maybe in the 50s or 60s. And when they find about me, this is what they always say: I wish that you were there when I need you, right? And they felt that there's lost a lot of time to connect with their children because of screen time, because most of the time the child is actually with the screen, and she just felt that she lost it. she didn't have the time to connect with the child, and the child now is in the 20s, and all of them is already going out to work, and the time to connect is even lesser. So what do you wish your mom, if let's say they're given the choice, but obviously we can't go back time and we can actually reverse that, but you know, what would you wish your mom could do so that it can actually help you in combat your screen addictions, you know?
Yeah, it's a good question. I already mentioned some things generally, but I think like the most important key is to really be present and try to like understand what I'm going through, not just the pain part, but also the joyful part, or like the pleasure side of computers, of the screens, like how it feels. Because if parents don't personally know what it feels, then it might be very hard to understand it. For them it is may seem like completely pointless activity, but it's actually some when they like shift the perspective and try to go to the child's body and mind, it's you get a like different kind of understanding. So I think this deep understanding is very important, and that's what I would have liked. Yes, and also like this emotional connection, like to try to listen or create a safe space for where is okay to share emotions and talk about these things. We never talked about these things, only when we had fights. So it was very different. Yeah, I think all of it and everything I also told before.
Okay. I think you mentioned quite a couple of things, like, you know, one is like be present with you, and then second is also understand, you know, your pain and struggles, but also about your joy and your happiness when it comes to screens, like, you know, at least you understand, you know, and maybe perhaps help you to set the boundaries, you know, because back then you also do not know how to set the boundaries. And you know, sometimes I felt that, you know, sometimes when a child they do not know how to set boundaries, then the parents can actually come and help you to set the boundaries as with the screen as well. And but the connection must come first. The connection must come first. If the connection is not there, it's hard. You can't, if you can't connect with if you can't connect with your child, you want to set the boundaries, it's hard. It's more like a rules, and that's why rules doesn't work, right? You already tried that, and you realize that the more your mom impose, the more you just want to get more, and there's always fight, right? So and you also mentioned about like the emotional connections, you know, like heart to heart talk, heart to heart talk, so that you guys can connect and have a real deep connections, you know, rather than on surface, you know, like the surface conversations. You prefer to have a deep connections that you can really share the vulnerable self of you, you know, to share the real you, you know, the real who you are. And basically, yeah, I think this is the message you have bring to the audience.
For me, it's the biggest thing. Yes, you totally nailed it. It's like the real you and the real connection, and that has that would have made the strongest impact. To really like feel safe in family and with all these emotions, and to feel like your family or your parents are like buddies for you, and they are, of course they set some kind of boundaries, they help to set boundaries, but they are your in other way they're equal partners for you. Like there's a lot of respect and friendship and connection and all of these kind of things. And then there might be also some other things that can help, like I have made a list. Actually, I haven't translated it into English yet, but I have a bit more tips, and I have also learned a lot about coaching, and coaching questions and skills, or coaching mindset can also help parents, because it's not about telling what to do, but it's like being curious and asking questions, or like what you like about it and how do you feel when you're doing this, or when or where have you felt something similar in your real life. So the child can make connections, like, but he or she can feel something similar, but not inside the digital world. Like, and to learn about the dreams, and I don't know, there's many different ways, like, but it's really important to find create something, some internal motivation, like start something inside. It needs to be like done smartly, but with the right techniques, you can create the inspiration inside your child, like because there's definitely something they enjoy and what makes her happy, and it doesn't have to be in the only in the digital world. And I think it's also very important to be a good like, you need to put an example, also be an example to yourself, learn to use these devices very mindfully. So the environment plays a big role also, because a lot of parents, I also see that they are in the phone or doing some stuff. So the child learns from the parents' behaviors, not their words. So yeah, and learning from other families also. There are a lot of great resources, and not just families, but grown-ups like me who can share the child's perspective. So I think that can also help to more understand about this.
Okay, great. Madis, you really nailed it. And that's why I created the digital parenting framework, which actually covers most of it. Like, I believe that yes, we have to, have some motivations for the children so that they can be a better future of themselves, And I use a lot of family values in my family setting, and I find that it's actually working very well. And it's not like setting expectations for the child, it's actually setting expectations for the family, to a certain standard. Like and that's why I always say that, the family values is also applying to the parents, because you are the role model for the children. There's no point that you say don't touch the screens, but you are constantly with the screens all the time. Or you tell the children, be responsible, but at the same time, sometimes you may not be responsible and you may not actually leave some other things out, right? So most of it is about the family values, and it's actually really set everyone, regardless whether it's parents or it's child, on the same standard, and it's usually co-created with the child. And I believe in co-creation, because family is all about all of us, like, so you have the same synergy and as a whole, as a one unit, right? And then when you actually co-creation, usually the child will want to actually follow it, because it comes from them. It's not come from, I'm the mom, I say this, you follow. So it's really about empowering. And I also use a lot of questions. I always instill questions and ask my children to talk about this. So I want them to instill critical thinking in themselves so that they can actually think and really empower them to make small decisions even when they are at a very young age. So, and then obviously the second things that I help parents to do is to help to the internet safety habits agreement, which you had help the children to set the boundaries and set the behavior to be in the internet. Because I think back then you don't have a lot of social media and all that, but now it's different. You have a lot of games, you have a lot of social media, and there are so many things, which is a lot out there. So you have to stay safe online as well, because there are a lot of sick people out there, online predators, and you do not know who are the sick people out there. You know, they may look normal, but they may be stalking on you online, right? So there's a certain behavior need to be set, you know, even if you are online. You know, sometimes it's about I find it very fascinating, you know, when the children actually go in the physical world, we will tell, you know, we will teach them and say, don't talk to strangers, don't do this, don't climb, you know, be safe, you know. But on the online world, we also have to teach our children. If not, they do not know this is dangerous, right? So, so this is about setting the boundaries and educating about the right behaviors to stay safe online. And then after that, we will move on to like how to set I call it set secure internet environment, means we secure it so that they don't get exposed to a lot of inappropriate content, right? And like porns, you know, because internet, you can actually gain access to everything, right? So this is the thing that we as parents, we cannot expect our children know what to do, because sometimes things just pop up and he just accidentally, or maybe his friend showed him, you know. So, and then the third is about the shape the habits, and you are right, environment play a very important role in it. And then, and also about the mindset, you also mentioned it before. If you can actually change the mindset and, you know, helping with you, then it can actually move further, you know, and get the right habits instead of like pushing that habits away, right? Yes. And then the fourth is about the awareness and educating about children and communicating with children. Because most of the time, in order to get your children buying it, the connection must come first. Without if no connections, nothing works. And I find it's very true for myself, for my children. If I don't connect, nothing works. But if I connect, I understand their perspective and I tell them my perspective. And we say, okay, let's decide, you know, we give them some data. And because I've really trained them since very young that they have some critical thinking, they were also able to make some decisions, you know. So small decisions, but yet to a child, it's powerful because they feel that I have some power. And that's why I always encourage about empowerment in your children, empower your children, you know, to make small decisions. And finally, the fifth step is, what if you have the agreement, but your child still not able to follow the agreement? What do? You know, and most of the time, I find that most parents overreact or underreact. Most of the time, it's overreact. They start to be furious. They start to shame the child. They start to shout at the child, you know, and they continue nag, and which you can see the resistance for you. When your mom did it, your resistance become very high. And what do? You resist some more, right?
Yes, exactly.
Yes. So this is where we as the parents, we have to work on ourselves. We have to respond, not react. We have to respond to our children's behavior in the right, so that we can actually bring them back and we align with our family values. We don't want to shame them, push them, because all these spirits, you know, by overreact, you're pushing your child away. And it's going to break the trust, you know. If anything happens, your child, oh, my mom is going to be furious. I will hide, I will not show my mom, I will not tell her, right? Is this what exactly you feel that particular time, whenever you already know your mom will react like this? right?
Yeah, it's important to do something different. Like it's easy to see what is not working, and to when stop doing these things that don't work and try something different. It might be difficult at first. It might need a lot of self-development on the parents' part as well, but it needs to happen. It's the only way to really change this, and but it's so worth it, and everyone can be happy.
Yes, yes, yes. I'm so glad that you are happy. You have actually gone through it, and that's why
Yes.
and now there are, like you say, there are more helps available right now. There are more people who is aware about the screen addictions. Screen addictions is not like a new problem. It's like it's a known problem nowadays. And most of the families
Yeah.
I talk to me, they have some problem with the screen time, or they have concern about, like, you know, the child being exposed too much to TikTok. I just met one of my friends. She was complaining, oh, my son actually really play about the TikTok, and the way he says his words is also almost like a TikTok. So she was really concerned about that, right? So so um so and if you don't mind, can you actually share how do you get rid? You know, maybe just give us a backstory about how do you get rid, and how do you actually get rid of the screen addictions?
Well, I think it's a very long topic. Um, I think the first part I already shared, but when I think about nowadays, I have to use like different kind of boundaries for myself, and sometimes I use computer software, or like, yeah, mostly computer software, because my main screen addiction has always been connected to computers, not really smartphones. So sometimes I make a strict schedule for myself, like block all day, and I have no choice but to like be offline. So that in extreme situation, when I really don't feel like when I'm feeling out of control, it really helps me. And when I'm like, oh my god, yes, I feel so good um, being with myself and reading books and playing a guitar. And when my real world comes back, and I feel really joyful. And also right now, what we are doing at the moment, I feel very it brings me a lot of joy to like express myself, talk, and also do something that can help others. Like I feel like a sense of contribution, and that makes it a lot easier to stay off, like to, I don't know, be connected with your purpose. It's for me, it's the biggest why to for me to change or be mindful about these habits. But because I don't want to waste my life, and I have wasted a big part of my life, and that has caused me a lot of frustration and pain. And but I really want to. I feel like a sense of purpose now, and I really want to be productive and enjoy all my hobbies and activities, but also like bring something, give something back, and that for me is very fulfilling. So all of these things play a role, like uh, emotional things, and like doing deep work on myself, and finding a finding a purpose, and also sometimes use this digital software, or some kind of support to make it easier to not rely on willpower only. Yes.
Okay. Thanks for all the tips, and I'm glad that you, because of some of the self-development, and you realize that you need to be really indulged in the self-development, and you realize that you need to change, and you manage to heal yourself, and that's why you started to be mindful about your screen time, and you actually implement all the things that you can actually implement to reduce the screen time, like, you know, plot your time, schedule the time ahead, put some software to block it so that you don't need to rely on your willpower. And these are really good strategies. And so parents, so what do you think about this message today? What do you learn? Share with us in the video and comment below. And at the same time, if you want my help you in digital parenting your children, I basically help parents to build better relationship with their child while reducing the screen time and empower your children to use technologies and internet in a responsible manner and stay safe online. Then just book a discovery call with me, and then let's see how we can actually help you. Thank you so much, Madis. Any last words for you to tell our audience today?
Yes, thank you. I'm just very happy. I'm very glad to see that how many opportunities there are, so much support nowadays, and really wish that parents would use it, like take the best out of it, because it can really make a big difference. And I feel it in my body that I'm happy right now, and I've made peace with my past, but I know that things would have been a lot more easier, and who knows where I would be today if I had this support back then. It's like so yeah. I'm just very grateful and happy that I could share something, and I really wish best luck for all the parents, and it's possible.
Okay, thank you again. So thanks, and like I said, please share any comments and what are the things that you have actually learned today, and share with us what are your thoughts, and then and book a discovery call with me if you want more help. If you need my help to reduce the screen time for your children and also empower them to use electronic device in a responsible way and staying safe online, and at the same time build better relationship with them. Thank you so much. That is, bye.
Bye.